station clock had lost one hand. A dog slept beneath a bench. I held one key in my pocket for a room I had never seen, and waited for the dark to thin. A woman rinsed 60 glasses inside one silver bowl. The driver tied my bag with a rope, then checked the knot twice. No one knew the name I carried. No one knew what I had left that made the journey easier. I arrived with the dawn, night grass wet around my shoes. I arrived with the dawn, with no borrowed words to use. The gate stands open before me, and I enter as myself. Here she comes. Let the new walls learn her voice. Here she comes. The lock resisted once, then opened with a dry click. One chair leaned against the wall. A gecko watched from the ceiling. I placed my mother's photograph beside the empty window and chose where my bed would stand. I arrived with the dawn, not rescue, not return. I arrived with the dawn, carrying what the night has taught. I set my key upon the table, and here my own life began. Outside, the tea woman called again. The street filled slowly. This time I answered. One loose strand hung from the sleeve, bright against the dark cloth. I found it in the cedar chest, folded under wedding beads. The hem was worn at every corner, but one fine line still held. My grandmother stitched down names when no stranger thought to look. Mine was waiting near the edge. I follow the golden thread, not knowing where it ends, only knowing it was left for me. I carried the cloth across the courtyard, past understood why they were there. I follow the golden thread through every careful stitch, through hands I never touched, through lives that made room for mine. I tie the end around my wrist and step into my place. The cloth closes behind me, but the thread goes on. The ceiling fan turns slowly. My shoes waited by the bed. I listened for bad news before my feet touched the floor. The milk did not spill, the front lock opened clean. A woman sweeping next door sang the wrong words and laughed. I carried that laugh with me. I learned to trust the day, not all at once, not with both hands open, just enough to leave the house. At the morning stalls, a vendor weighed 3 mangoes, then placed the 4th inside my bag. Too ripe for tomorrow, she said. Juice stained the paper, sweetness reached my fingers. Nothing asked me to earn it. The bus passed without stopping. Rain from the washing line, the message I expected never came. Still the rice finished cooking. Still children chased a tire. Still my body carried me from one hour to the next. I learned to trust the day, even when it changed its mind. It gave me bread, delay, and rain, and asked me to remain. I had blamed the hours for what one person did, but time had never left me. It kept placing life nearby. So I trust the cup on the table, the key warm inside my hand, the neighbor calling from a window, the last bus turning home. I learned to trust the day, because it did not promise me, it simply came, and I was here to meet it. Tomorrow can knock when it arrives. Tonight I leave the curtains open. Gold stripe across the clear water, and rested on my sandals before the yard was awake. One path curved toward the market, one sank behind the sorghum, one climbed where the stones turned white. I stood with my basket empty until warmth reached my left shoulder. Then I chose the rising ground. I walk where the sun leads, not because the way is easy. I walk where the sun leads, because standing still has cost enough. By noon the path gave no shade. My water tasted of warm metal. Thorns caught the edge of my skirt, and the village sounds grew thin. Still brightness moved across the ridge, a little farther each time I looked. Keep your pace, spend no breath on fear, follow what stays clear. Spend no breath on fear. The sun does not explain the distance. It gives me somewhere to place my feet. By evening, by evening, by evening, the ridge lay behind me. My basket was still empty, but my direction was full. Feet on the cool floor, soap still white on my wrist. The rooster called too early. I opened the eastern door. Yesterday sat in every room, in the chair I would not move, in the bowl full of water, in the words I never used. I carried all of it outside and placed it near the wall. Hands raised to the morning, nothing hidden in the palms. Hands raised to the morning, let the new hour see us whole. My brother struck the wooden drum, 3 slow beats across the yard. A child came running without shoes. Her laughter broke the quiet. One by one the windows opened, one by one the faces came. Raise them high, raise them clean, for what stayed. something stayed lifted. The rain stopped at 4. The tin roof held one last drop. Above the water tower, the clouds broke into a doorway. I had spent 3 months preparing, then 3 more days saying no. My ticket softened inside my shoe. My bag stayed hidden by the stove. At the empty station, a goat slept beneath the bench. The driver smoked beside the bus and never asked why I was late. The sky left a door open, a clear blue place to enter. Not forever, not the whole way, just enough for me to choose. The engine started. I stayed standing, then climbed aboard. A woman carried millet sacks and held the seat beside her. She asked, "Are you going far?" I said, "Far enough to hear myself." The bus leaned into the hills. One window would not close. That blue space followed above us through every turn. At the final checkpoint, my mother's brass pin caught the sun. She had worn it when she left home and never told me she was afraid. The sky left a door open. This time I did not wait beneath it. I crossed before the clouds returned, with my bag against my knees and my own answer in my mouth. By dusk, the blue had disappeared, but I was already through. A cattle bell stopped ringing, then one clear note came back from beyond the thorn fence. My bag rested by the bench, one handle tied with cord. My aunt wrapped millet bread in yesterday's newspaper. She pressed it into my hands and did not ask me to stay. When the horizon calls, hey, I hear more than distance. Hey, I hear the life I postponed, calling from the far side. When the horizon calls, disappeared behind a curve. The horizon stayed with me. No bird crossed the noon. Even the cattle stood still. I almost turned back. The dry riverbed split in two. Both ways looked the same. My water skin felt lighter, my sandals held white dust. Then I saw a blue ribbon tied high on a thorn tree. A quiet sign ahead. No voice, no warning, just enough to keep me moving. A quiet sign ahead. The ribbon lifted once, then rested. She had cut it years before for journeys she would not explain. I touched the cloth against my cheek and chose the narrower crossing. Some signs do not call, some answers do not shout. Look once, then trust what remains. At the far bank I found 3 stones placed in a careful line. Someone had crossed before me and wanted me to know. The blue ribbon disappeared behind me. Ooh. 3 new stones waited in my hand. Red earth, keep my footsteps true. I left before the goats were loose, with water tied against my side. The path began behind the granary, then vanished under thorn and stone. I pressed my thumb into the ground where I had almost turned. A path through the red dust, narrow but still mine. A path through the red dust. By midday, my sandals split. I bound them with a strip of cloth. The boy beside the millet field pointed once, then carried on. No promise waited at the ridge, only 2 hills and a dry basin. Still my feet chose forward. Step, breathe, lift, begin again. Begin again. At the old stone smile gives back my name. I do not wait for certainty. I move until the land opens. The way home still shines in one kitchen window, beyond the sleeping fields. I remember the loose front step, the blue cup beside the basin, a screen repaired with fishing line, and the radio between two stations. No map could hold these things, but my body kept them all. Drinking tea, why distant drums at evening made every room feel borrowed. Come as you are, come without proof. The house remembers the way. Home still shines past the red earth crossing, past the fields gone dark, past every year between us. The way at the final bend, I saw the patch screen move. Someone had left the cup outside, clean, and turned toward the gate. I understood then. No one had erased my place. The way home still shines, now close enough to touch, in the window, in the basin, in the radio's broken song. The way home still shines, and I no longer watch from far away. The loose step held my weight. The front room breathed around me. Someone inside said, "You're here." I stood where the road went pale, with no sign beyond the bend. Yeah. hem of my dress, my old map ended there. I turned it over in my hands, but found no answer anywhere. Then gold touched one small stone, no wider than my hand. Guided by the light, only one step showing. Guided by the light, through the road still turning. I do not need the whole way, just enough to place my feet. Narrow and clear, distant drums cross the dry grass. I match them step for step, guided by the light, only one step showing. Guided by the light, through the road still turning. I do not need the whole way, just enough to place my feet. My mother's blue cloth caught on a thorn, 3 bands beyond the hill. I tied it around my walking stick and chose the steeper road. Now my feet remember. Past the final marker, I do not ask to see it all. I know enough to move. Oh yeah, yeah. One gold stone behind me, one clear step ahead. Yeah, la, 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 la. It leaned across the path, dry heads brushing my sleeves. I entered where the hues open. My aunt tied a copper bell to my wrist. Ring it when your courage leaves, she said, then close the wooden gate. I kept it silent through the first field, past the well with the broken road, until the roofs disappeared behind me. Through the valley of gold, where the harvest bends low. Through the valley of gold, I carry what I could not say. Who sent you? A promise I delayed. What do you carry? One day I must return. The heat held every stalk in place. A blackbird watched from the fence. My mother's comb lay in my pocket. 3 teeth missing, one edge smooth. I had come to leave it in the soil. Instead I drew it through my head, and the copper bell began to sound. One clear note crossed the ground, and another answered, Father. Through the valley of gold I will not bury what made me. I take it past the final ridge, into the place that knows my face. Through the valley of gold I return home. At sunset the bell grew quiet. My mother's calm remained in my head. The lamb drank its final drop. The room lost every corner. I heard the shutter shake, but I did not call for help. 7 steps to the table, 3 more to the wall. My hands remembered everything. No darkness can keep me, not inside this room, not beneath the silent roof. I know the shape of leaving. No darkness can keep me out. Behind the woven curtain I found a line of chalk, my name, written years ago, low beside the window frame. Someone had marked my height before I learned to shrink. I placed my palm above it and stood taller than the mark. Heel on clay, hand on chest, one beat, then another. I pulled the black cloth from the mirror, tied it firmly at my waist, lifted the hood in my and opened the house tonight. No darkness can keep me, keep her no more. No darkness can name me. She knows her own name. I cross what I cannot see, with both hands free. Hey, 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 hey. At the neem tree I turn once. The house looks smaller from outside. At noon the grass lay flat, a calabash rolled by the fence. No hand reached for it. For 9 days I I stayed near the house, listening to spoons touch bowls. My sister's blue shawl stayed on its peg, too bright for me to move. Then an old woman crossed the field, water balanced on her head. Grace across the savannah, quiet feet on open ground. Grace across the savannah, teaching sorrow how to walk. Carry what you can, leave what you must. Cross the plain, one ahead, one learning. Before the cooking fires, before the first door moved, a low song crossed the courtyard and found me awake. I knew the oldest voice, my aunt beside the grinding stone. Then another rose behind it, from a house no longer there. We are here, we are near. Listen before the day begins. Voices at first dawn, calling through the quiet, one name then another, carried from mouth to mouth. Voices at first dawn, making room for mine. I had kept my song small under my tongue for 7 long seasons. A child entered from a tin roof, clear as water in a bowl. An elder tapped the wooden gate and gave the rhythm back. I opened both my hands, no offering inside them, only the sound I had refused, waiting to be given. thin gold line crossed the floor, moved over my bare toes before I made a choice. I carried 2 letters in my bag. One said stay, one said leave. I read them beneath the fig tree until the ink began to fade. Then warmth reached the folded page and settled on the word go. The sun knows my way, even when I do not. It rests on the next doorway. It waits beyond the open field. The sun knows my way. As though she had seen this before, I kept the letter marked gold. Heat on my shoulders, gold on the wall. No voice behind me, no reason to turn. At the dry well I stopped. My mother's ring slipped from its cord. I caught it before it touched the ground. I could carry love and leave it. The sun knows my way. It writes the answer in brightness. Across the rooftop, across my hands, I follow where the warm line falls, and this time I do not pause. By evening the letter was blank, but I was already gone. For days I left the curtains closed, rice cooled untouched in the pot. The clock kept working without me. I let the hours pass. Then the tailor began at sunrise. Heel pressing the wooden pedal, needle rising, needle falling. A green thread crossed her lap and cloth moved beneath her hands. Hope has a steady rhythm. It does not rush the room. It enters through a small sound and waits for you to hear. The women brought torn sleeves, school shirts missing buttons, a red dress split at the side. No one called the damage final. They measured, pinned and mended. I carried my coat next door. The pocket had come loose. Inside it I found the coin I thought I had lost that winter. She placed my foot on the pedal and guided it once. The machine answered beneath me, uneven at first, then firm, then mine. Hope has a steady rhythm. Keep it moving through the needle and the heel. Keep it moving. It does not ask for perfect hands, only hands that I knew my coat could carry something. So could I, so could I. Before the birds began, the kettle clicked once. I stayed beside the door. My dress was folded on the chair. Red earth slept beyond the step. I counted cracks along the wall, like they could tell me when to enter my own life again. Where the morning finds me, let it find me standing, not hiding from the window, not bargaining with yesterday. Where the morning finds me, I wash the cup you used to hold, set it upside down to dry. The woven mat still kept its shade, but I moved it toward the sun, then opened both the wooden doors and let the room grow wide. One beat from the fire road, one breath inside my chest. I tied my hair with yellow thread, took the key from under the bowl. The house did not ask me to stay, so I stepped into the heat. Where the morning finds me, where the morning, let it find me moving, let it find me with dust alive around my feet and my name back in my mouth. I have no perfect answer, only somewhere new to go. The kettle cooled behind me, the road warmed under me, and morning found me on the road. The power failed before supper. My sister struck one match and set a clay lamp by the door. My bag held one clean dress, 2 coins beneath the lining, a photograph with one corner burned, and an address learned by heart. I touched the wooden latch, but did not lift it yet. A flame beside my feet, small enough to tremble, strong enough to show one stone, then one stone more. The glass, a moth struck it again and again. Thorn branches pulled at my sleeve. Hot wax marked my left sandal. Still the wick leaned forward, as though it knew the hill. Keep it low, keep it near, walk while it is burned. Halfway up the flame, then flat, I covered it with both hands. My sister's matchbox pressed my palm. Then I saw what she had written: come back only as yourself. Hey! Upon my fingers, and the lamp still burning. I placed it beside a new doorway and watched the room appear. The road opens before me, not wide, not smooth, not sure, but every gate I feared is standing open now. The road opens before me, and I step through. Chain lever rust upon my thumb. When I lifted it from the post, a white goat slept across the track, too calm to move for anyone. I laughed for the first time in weeks, then walked around it slowly. No drum announced my leaving, no crowd called out my name, only gravel under my shoes. At the roadside stall I bought one orange. The woman cut it with a narrow blade. Juice ran down across my wrist. She said, the first mile asks for little, so I ate beneath the jacaranda and gave the peel back to the earth. Left foot, loose stone, deep breath. Keep going. I had waited for a perfect sign, something louder than my doubt. Hey, but the gate had never been locked. My hand had stayed upon the chain that was all. The road opens before me, accept distance, and distance is enough. Behind me the goat still slept. Ahead